Have you ever walked into a plant nursery just to look and then walked out with 3 pots, a bag of soil, and an identity crisis? Hello, I'm Nora. Welcome back to the channel, and trust me, I've been in that position before. I used to stroll in just for inspiration, but I'd always end up with spending too much or buying the wrong plants and forgetting what I actually needed and why I came here in the first place. In this video, I'll share what I wish I knew before stepping foot in a plant nursery, from the mistakes that I did to the must-bring tools and how to live with plants you'll actually keep alive. So stick around, because this information can really save you the time, the money, and the regret. And I wish that there was a video like this back in the days when I was learning gardening in order to help me save the time and the effort. So first of all, let's talk about the impulse trap. Let's start with the biggest trap, which is impulse buying. And I once bought a beautiful Japanese maple on sale. No plan, no spot for it. It sat in the pot for months and it died. Mind you, that's actually the biggest mistake that I've done so far, and that was really early in my planting journey. But here's the truth: just because a plant is discounted doesn't mean it's right for your space. The healthiest looking plant is not always the best choice, and I want you to always go ahead and check the root health as well as signs of stress before buying. So the rare variegated monstera that you see trending, it might not survive outside your bathroom. So don't let TikTok's trends lead your garden goals. Let's talk about going in with a plant, and that's a really important strategy to go in with, because there's a lot of beautiful plants, a lot of florals, as you can see. And this video was taken back in Finland in the mid-summer time, but I will be making more videos on the plant nurseries in Australia as we continue to explore them in the area. And I started making a plant shopping list. I mapped out all of the sun zones before heading to the nursery, and then it changed everything. So I want you to go ahead and bring this list. It consists of your garden's light levels, the soil type, whether it's clay, whether it's sandy, whether it's loomy, as well as the climate zone, and most importantly, the problem areas that you are trying to solve. So is that shade, is that privacy, or is it pest? Now, I once bought 3 sun-loving lavenders and I planted them in full shade. Oops. They all turned grey and really leggy, and that was like a really bad investment and a terrible mistake as well. Now, this is what I do differently. I write down my shady spots before I leave home. Also, I want you to go ahead and ask these 3 questions. Now, most people don't ask these questions, and that is a mistake. So the question number 1 is, how big will this plant get? Now, you'll thank yourself later. Question number 2 is, how often should it be watered in your climate? And question number 3, lastly, is it prone to any pest or diseases? And a while ago, I also brought home a beautiful hibiscus without knowing it attracted spider mites. And that was a horrible decision to make, especially when you live in an apartment. And also there was problems with the shade and the light, and would finish as really small periods of summer. That didn't go well, you can imagine. And also it ended up horribly, where it infested half of my balcony plants. Now I always ask about pest resistance every single time. With that being said, let's talk about the tools that you should bring with you. So I used to arrive with just my phone. Now here's what I bring. I bring a tape measure, which helps me to do the plant spacing, because it really does matter. I take a notebook, or I use the garden app, or a simple digital notebook on my phone. And also I try to take gardening gloves, yes, even at the nursery, and a reusable tray or a box to protect the car seats, because when you buy the plants in pots, there's always the drainage, and then there's always the soil coming out as well, so it's messed up the car multiple times. So just bring a reusable tray or a simple box. Sometimes they provide that to you, other times they don't. Sometimes they just give you a paper bag to go ahead with it. And nurseries often restock early in the morning on weekdays, and that's when I found my rare lemon verbena before it vanished in under 2 hours. Everyone was crazy for it. So don't forget to check the roots as well, because I learned it the hard way. Always check the roots before buying, because a root bound plant might look okay, but it really could struggle to establish later. So here are 3 things I want you to look out for when it comes to the roots. You're going to look for white, healthy roots. If they are dark, if they are mushy, don't buy it. It's not worth it. Also, look that there are no roots spiraling tightly, and look for no strong smell, because if there is a strong smell, especially coming from the root area, it's always a bad sign of either fungus or root rot or other issues as well. And I once took home a basil, got really excited, it was on sale and it looked perfect on the top, but it was rotten underneath. Lesson learned. Now luckily I did manage to cut a few really healthy stems from the top and then save it, replant it, put it in water in a jar full of water for about 5 to 6 days under the grow light, and then it started developing roots, and then it was replanted in soil afterwards. But this whole thing could have been prevented if I just looked at the roots and looked out for these 3 signs that I talked about. Now gardening is very personal. A plant nursery can feel like a candy store, but planning ahead really gives you the power and the knowledge and the awareness that you need before you get started. And don't let sales, discounts, shiny leaves distract you. Go in with a purpose and you'll come out with plants that will thrive year long. Let me know in the comments, what is your biggest mistake you've made at the nursery? And we hear but we don't judge. And don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the bell icon. I'll be sharing next week's video and I'll be talking about how to revive nursery plants that are already stressed. Take care and have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.